Hello everyone and welcome to another interview on the Mason Young Racing videos page. Want to give another quick shout out to the sponsor Cramlick DD Meats out of Medina, North Dakota, specializing in meat and sausage processing, but they can handle all sorts of food needs beyond just the meat department. They have a full-on bakery, convenience store, grocery store, even a floral shop. So many things that they offer at Cramlick DD Meats. If you are traveling between Bismarck and Jamestown on I-94, they're just into Medina, just a mile into town, and you can stop on in if you need a little bit of a break or if you want some of their sweet baked goods. Head on in, talk to Joe, Melinda, and the whole crew. They do an excellent job. Great supporters of dirt track racing as well. And so I want to thank them once again for the support. You can go follow them on Facebook at Cramlick DD Meats and see what kind of specials they can cook up for you. Well, welcome back, race fans and everyone watching, for another fun interview. We are going over to Minnesota this week to interview a young up-and-coming driver out of Ramsey, Minnesota, the number 7K, recently of driving the WISSOTA Modified, Teddy Kottschade. Teddy, how are you doing this weekend?
Doing pretty good, trying to hold off the cold weather and hopefully we get back to racing soon.
Yeah, we were getting a little bit of a tease over the last couple of weeks before this last snowstorm came through. At least where I'm at, we had 4.5 inches of snow before, right after we had like nice 40-degree weather. I'm sure you're kind of got in the same boat down there.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, except we didn't get as much snow, but when you get a little teaser, it kind of gets your hopes up.
Yeah, and granted, it's still February, but like we were talking off camera, February goes by so fast, and all of a sudden it's March, and we're about a month to month and a half, depending on where you're at, from getting to the racetrack. So things are ramping up pretty darn quick.
Yeah, it's amazing just how quick racing comes around after October.
Yeah, it's like at that point, it's like you're ready for a break, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, dang, now I got to get ready for the season, and it just seems like you never have enough time. That's the way racing goes. You never have enough time to get everything done that you need to get done. But I'm excited to get to know you, excited to introduce you to the race fans out there that may not know who you are. And so give us a little bit of a rundown of your racing career up to this point, because you've been doing a lot of racing up to this point in your life.
Yeah, so I started racing in 2012, which is hard to believe that it's going to be 15 years of doing this come this year. But I started in dirt over go-karts when I was 5, and I guess it actually has to go back to my dad. He raced from like 97 to 2000, and that's kind of how our racing began with him. He raced a WISSOTA Pure Stock and then a WISSOTA Super Stock at Trioval Speedway, which is now Mississippi Thunder. So when we came along, he was trying to get us interested in the racing, and it just worked out that all of us boys were really interested. So we just kind of fell in love with it. And actually, how it all happened was that one of his coworkers from work was just kind of trying to get us into racing by like trying to get him to get us a go-kart or something. And my dad's like, well, there's really nowhere to race around here, and just running a go-kart in the yard wouldn't really do much. So after nagging, in the fall of 2011, my dad was going down to our local grocery store, which was 2 miles away. And right across from the grocery store is a old rundown gas station. Or until that day, where he was down there and he looked across the street and there was a wooden fence and it said Ramsey Raceway. So he quickly went to check it out and ran home, brought me over there, and we just started asking questions like, hey, our buddy's got a go-kart. Can we bring it out? And they're like, yeah, sure. In fact, they just built the track and they were doing some preseason testing. So in the winter of 2011, my dad and his buddy went down to Indiana, which is where the kart was, and they picked it up. And it's pretty interesting from that first racetrack that we raced that was a couple miles from home because a few of the WISSOTA people that we know today are actually from that area. Don Shaw actually put a lot of time and work into the track and actually brought the clay in and built it. So it's pretty neat when it comes all full circle. But from 2012 to 2017, I did dirt oval go-karts, and we did pretty much almost everything with it. We traveled all over the Midwest and even went down south a few times. So we were pretty serious about it. And then 2018, we decided to go pavement racing. I did Bandoleros for a year and then did Legend Cars for 2 years. And then the last 2 years I did late models, which was in 2022. And kind of in 2022 to 2023, we did some road course stuff. In 2022, we met some people from the Brainerd International Raceway up there in Brainerd, the road course, that were part of the performance driving school. And so at the time, my brother Josiah, who's younger than me, was running a legend car, and we'd bring that up there on Mondays and test. And then in the meantime, I'd actually be an instructor for the school and go out with people and kind of teach them things and stuff. So in 2022, it was just our last year in pavement and really didn't have the money to continue forward, moving up to the ladder for where we wanted to go, which was NASCAR at the time. And so we tried to do a road course route. We did that for 2 years. The same thing was just there, just really didn't have the money to progress forward, just being a small team that we are. And in 2024 we decided to come back to dirt, and I asked a lot of people about advice, like what do I want to get back into dirt with, what's something that's more driver dependent rather than money or setup dependent, and the answer became a modified. So 2024 we bought ourselves a USRAA mod and wanted to run WISSOTA with it, but it was just so late in the season we didn't have enough time to convert it over, so we decided to run down at Mississippi Thunder. And I think we did once at Chateau and then another once at Cedar Lake, and then we topped off the year at the topless up at Ogilvy. And then 2024 to 2025, we converted our car over to Wissota, and then did some legend car stuff on dirt as well. So kind of dabbled in that a little bit and was successful with it. And then this year, we're gonna have two A mods running. My brother Josiah will be running a modified. He'll actually be running my old car. I got an update in the equipment basically, so I'll be running at Granite City on Sundays, and then Wednesdays and Thursdays. Well, yeah, Thursdays and Fridays we'll be doing Wilmer and Ogilvy or maybe somewhere else on a Saturday, and then Josiah will just have him run on Princeton on Friday just to kind of learn. But that's kind of my racing career in a nutshell.
Well, it's quite a bit in your young life, and like going from pavement to dirt, and like all everything, every stop in between. It's really interesting to hear, especially for a guy from the Midwest, because we don't hear a lot about pavement racing around, at least especially around my area. Because I'm from North Dakota, we don't have much, like hardly anything for pavement racing, and so I do know some of the pavement stuff that kind of goes down like maybe down to like Elko Speedway. I don't know if that's still a running track right now, but it's
Yep.
very cool to hear that there's been some pavement experience in your background. I guess one of the questions I would have based on that, like how did that experience transition from pavement over to dirt? Was there a lot of things to learn transitioning from one to the other?
Not really. I mean, the only similarities between pavement and dirt, really, in a apples to apples comparison, is when the track really slicks off. You're kind of have to drive the car straighter. But I mean, even in pavement, you still have to learn to keep the car under you. And sometimes when the car is really loose, it's kind of gets sideways on you. So coming back to dirt and learning how to get sideways really wasn't an issue. I've kind of learned how to do that throughout my racing career. One of our sponsors is Procart in Maple Grove, Minnesota. And some of the corners there, we have to pitch the carts around and stuff to get around corners. And them being a sponsor, we go there pretty much every week throughout the year, and it's a good way just to practice and learn things. So, I mean, there were some similarities, but different things that you learn from different disciplines, you kind of put them in different perspectives and use them for different things rather than using them for the same thing, I guess.
Well, that's very helpful to have a sponsor like that where you can kind of go and get some practice laps because especially for young drivers or younger experienced drivers, seat time is key no matter what you can get into. And so just getting used to like being in a race car or a cart of some sort, I'm sure is very helpful.
Oh, it is. I mean, just where we are right now, I mean, it's there's snow on the ground and the guys down south are constantly racing. So, I mean, it's not anything in the water or whatever or genetics. It's just repetition and discipline. So that definitely helps. And especially like now, I mean, we're starting to race a little bit more. Some of the guys up here are starting to go south a little bit more and race throughout the winter time, but still, I mean, we have an off season, so just it's that muscle memory. I mean, it's the same way with school. I mean, we homeschool and we usually do school all year round. Otherwise, if you do go to school, you have some breaks and then you come back in the first few weeks. It's like you're having to relearn things that you already learned a few months prior. So,
Yeah, so it's definitely good that you're keeping busy during the winter doing that and kind of keeping like that muscle memory up to speed. And that way, once the racing season does get here on your local area, you're not far behind or you're pretty comfortable already behind the wheel. What else do you do to stay busy? I assume you're busy with school or work. What do you kind of do during the downtime to keep yourself busy?
yeah, so I graduated earlier this year, and basically I work for a racing team, which is 7K Racing. I'm basically out in the shop every day, preparing two or three cars for the racing season coming up. And then also I'm a tutor. My brother Josiah is doing some online college classes. They call it PSEO, which is basically you can get free schooling while doing high school to do college classes and stuff. So I'm kind of helping him out and kind of guiding him through and stuff, but it is pretty busy where we're at. So, small team, a lot of cars. There's a lot to do.
Okay, well, at least it keeps you out of trouble. That's the main thing, right?
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, we all need as many things as we can to keep ourselves out of the weeds quite a bit. And but yeah, so you got a busy racing season coming up. You've got multiple cars in the stable, gearing up for 2026. Before we kind of jump into 2026, what would you say is a memory that stood out to you in your racing career thus far?
Well, I'd have to say probably my favorite is in 2017. We were doing a lot of kart racing back then and was really committed on the Midwest scene. And then every now and then we'll make our trips down south, which is really where the competition was, just because they raced all year long. And in 2017, during 4th of July weekend, we had a rough week here in the Midwest, and we contacted our engine builder who was down south and kind of had a racing program down there. And we said, hey, we want to come down here. Can you prepare us a set of tires and we can come down and race? Because if we're gonna have a hard week, we'd rather get beat by the best and learn something. So we headed down there and I think we raced either a Friday, Saturday or a Saturday, Sunday, but we raced first in North Carolina and then we'd race the next day in South Carolina. And so we were down in North Carolina at Liberty Raceway. And what was really funny is because we were in the staging lane waiting to get into the gate. And we were talking to someone that was really good down there, and their dad was like, yeah, if you're leading on the last lap, you're not going to be leading, and this place is the worst for fights. And we're thinking to ourselves, yeah, right. Like we're going to be up in the front. We've usually been in the back of these things and just learning. So, anyways, I remember it was a very hot day, and it rained. It pulled everything off, and somehow I think we started second, took the lead right off the get go, and just waited and waited and waited for that last lap, and nothing ever happened, and we won the race, and it was really spectacular because the Midwest drivers were pretty good. If you're a local here and you went to the Midwest, you were going to get spanked pretty bad. But the Midwest guys were just even tougher just because of how long they raced down there. And I remember I pulled in to the scale area, which was kind of like a shed, and we're getting out of the carts, and my mom comes running over, and she's so happy and excited. And my dad could just feel the buzz going on in the tech shed. And there were like two sheriff deputies in there. I mean, you could just kind of feel something wasn't right, but it was pretty cool and unique. And the interesting thing is when we were there with our engine builder, he was working with a chassis manufacturer and they were doing some testing with a new kart chassis that they were going to be coming out with. So his attention was kind of over on everybody else and it really wasn't on us, which was fine. That was okay. We just brought a pickup truck and put the go-kart in the back, but it was very interesting or humbling experience of how we are able to go down there and win. But I mean, that's just the commitment of not getting up, giving up. I remember the first time we went down south, I don't think we even made an A main. Second time, I think we made one of two A mains, and the third time we qualified third for a really, really big race and got wrecked out earlier on in a warm-up race. So perseverance always helps, and it was just a really cool experience that week. So that'll live in my mind for probably a while, my biggest win ever. So
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like when I talk to drivers and they like you just mentioned, like you don't expect to do well when you travel out to like unknown areas. But I can think of several examples in all the various classes that drivers travel across the country and they end up doing well because being here up here in the Midwest, we have some great competition up here that pushes us to the limits, and when we go other places it results in some good finishes and some good wins. And so definitely a good inspiration and encouragement to the drivers out there that hey, you may be struggling or maybe having tough weeks up here on your local tracks, but if you go to other places in the country, you'd be surprised how you stack up because we're blessed to have some really great competition up here that really helps us and just the competitiveness that we have.
yeah, and it was a really cool weekend just because I mean those guys were the best down there, and every time we'd go down there, it's like it would be always a long drive home, but you learn things, and that's really interesting thing when you go up against tough competition and you get smoked. It's just the hard part is trying to come back and learn because it was maybe a humbling weekend to you or whatever, but it's that repetition that drives you to be better. And so that weekend, like I said, we want to get if we're gonna get smoked, we want to get smoked by the best, and not giving up put us in that situation. So I think we're very fortunate for where we live up here, just for modified racing in general. I mean, I feel very blessed living in kind of in the central Minnesota area, having some really good drivers around here. So even on a weekly basis up here, there's no slouches that you're racing against. There's some probably the best WISSOTA guys in any area is probably right around in here. So.
Yeah, that was going to lead into my next question because there's like a couple of the races. So it makes sense when you were explaining your racing background because I think I first met you in the fall of 2024 at Ogilvy, I believe. And I was like, man, why haven't I heard this guy's name before? Why haven't I seen him a lot? Because I'm such a nerd when it comes to this stuff, trying to keep track of everyone. But being that you had a USRA car, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. But yeah, you're like jumping into the wolves and like racing at like the fall classic and the topless, and you got like 30 to 40 other drivers in the modified class, and it's like, wow, you're really jumping in. So talk to us a little bit about what it's like racing around all those drivers.
Oh man, it can be a humbling experience, but it's really cool to know that you're racing against the best every week, especially in WISSOTA. And even when we ran USRA and we were running down at Mississippi Thunder, I mean, five of those guys at least run USMTS full time or at least in the top 10 in points. So, I mean, knowing that you race against really good competition is a really good feeling, especially for someone like me, because I want to be the best driver as possible. And that makes me know that I can go out and run every week really well, other places too. But uh, I always like a challenge. That's kind of the interesting thing. But I think that's just like I said, we're really blessed to where we live because you can go travel 3 hours down south and you can run with the best USMTS guys, and you can come up here 40 minutes away and run with the best WISSOTA guys. So it definitely teaches you, learning discipline and teaching you to work harder and strive for better success. But when the success shows on a local basis, you're racing against really good competition, and it's not like you're racing anywhere where there's slouches or anything, but you know that you're doing really good every week when you can run top five or top 10 with these guys.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't even matter if it's like just 8 guys racing on a weekly show or you get the 20 to 30 race nights. It's like wow, there's like every field is stacked. And so, yeah, you're getting some good experience, like years upon years of experience with some of these drivers around the local scenes. So, definitely the ability to learn every time you go out on the racetrack is really, really, really good. And so, with the 2026 season coming up, so you mentioned you and your brother will be racing modifieds. And are you going to be racing kind of a regular schedule at the local tracks, or what's kind of on the docket for the 2026 season race schedule wise?
I'd say for the race schedule, if there's one track that we're going to focus on mainly, it's going to be Granite City on Sunday nights over in St. Cloud, just because with my brother Josiah racing on Friday nights at Princeton, and my youngest brother Jackson, who would probably be doing some legend car stuff, at least gives me a place I can at least race every week rather than maybe racing on a Saturday. But I think throughout the week too, we're gonna base off of a Thursday on Wilmer or even play around on a Saturday, maybe probably at Ogilvy most of the time, but at least once on Sunday and then maybe another on Thursday or something on Saturday. But it's just we're just gonna have to feel it out just because we're running two modifieds at least every week and we don't want to overload ourselves right off the get-go. So
Well, I was just about to ask about that too, because being that you're kind of around the Twin Cities area and like Ogilvy, Princeton, and Granite are pretty close to another, it's like, oh, it'd be easy to run 2, 3 nights, but that's a racing one night is a lot of work, and when you pile on 2 to 3 nights and multiple cars, I'm sure that workload just exponentially increases.
oh yeah, I mean, I think the worst that we've done is at Elko. I think one year we did one legend car and two bandoleros, and the next year we did one legend car, one bandolero, and a late model all in the same night. So it's just trying to split us up. I mean, we don't have the help like some other people do, so we just gotta be smart about things. But yeah, these modifieds, the maintenance level, they love a lot of attention for sure.
Yeah, from the modified drivers I've talked to, it's like it's very technical and just kind of like minute adjustments make a huge, huge difference. And so, yeah, I don't blame you for kind of taking things easy, especially at the start of the year, because of course, if you get started in April, like Ogilvy and Princeton are slated to schedule start there, you'll get plenty of races in. So there'll be no shortage of racing throughout the summer and throughout the year to take in. Any special races that you're planning to do as the season goes on? Anything like the WISSOTA 100 or any big money races that you may be trying to take in?
Like I said, we'll play it by ear, but I think the WISSOTA 100 might be something that we'll do. We didn't go last year with the car just because one, it was our first year in WISSOTA, and really don't want to throw yourselves out in the wolves right away. But two, our car really wasn't where it was handling wise, where we felt like we were going to be competitive, and thought we just need a little bit more work on stuff, to be honest. But probably with Soda 100. I probably will do Fall Classic and Topless again this year. And then if there are any other big events, maybe like the Gopher up at EMR, we'll just have to see. Again, it just depends on how many races are left throughout the year and who's racing what. So,
Okay, yeah, hey, that's a good approach right now. Kind of take it in one race weekend at a time, because sometimes plans change a little bit, and you kind of have
yep.
to think on the fly a little bit. So I don't blame you there.
Yes, especially with three cars. Gotta give everybody attention.
Yes, yeah, you can't let one get neglected because you'll find out really quickly, performance wise and maintenance wise on the track, which car is getting neglected.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to thank your sponsors and your crew members, anyone that helps the 7K racing team out.
Yeah, first of all, I just gotta thank God. I mean, He's given me the opportunity to do this and put really good people behind me. And for my sponsors, I gotta thank Yoder Farms. He's been there from the beginning, and he was the guy that gave us our first go kart to kind of start all this. And Pro Kart indoors in Maple Grove, Turbidine lubricants, probably some of the best oil in the world is what I think. Uh, thanks to them. Uh, Jerry Zabra Auto Body of America, A plus stump grinding, Minnesota Diamond Cut Outdoor Services, really good lawn care that they do, and also plowing in the wintertime. Really good service there. Uh, Jerry Zabra Auto Body of America. Like I said, they're really good at all body care. They're located in Mankato, Minnesota. And then J&L Collectibles, Weir's Machine Racing Products, Teaser Engineering Racing Engines, and special thanks too to Elite Shock Services. Carter and Austin over there do a really good job in helping us out with setup stuff. So thanks to them, our car is running really good. And like I said, Tizar, he knows his engine stuff really well too. So I also got to thank my mom and dad and my sister. She's the youngest one in the family, and thankfully she ain't into horses or anything. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. But also my brothers too. I mean, they pitch in every week, and like I said, it's always a balance trying to race all three of us, and so sometimes people kind of have to sacrifice some things. And thanks to all the fans out there that support us too, and thanks to people like you. I mean, you guys are the ones that make racing great and trying to present us drivers out to the fans. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. It takes a whole village. One of my friends is my our motto during college, especially during engineering classes. It takes a village.
Yes.
It takes a village to get through all of this, and so happy to contribute wherever I can, and all the people and supporters that you have. Happy to help support you and to get you where you're at as well. I guess one of the other questions I have before I let you go, do you have a specific track that you have taken a liking to the best since you've been in the modified? Or are you still kind of trying to feel out like what your driving style is, whether it's a short track or a bigger track?
Um, I'd say still trying to figure it out a little bit. There's some tracks I love, and to be honest, all the WISSOTA tracks are pretty good that we've ran at so far. I mean, each one is very unique in driving style and in shape too. I mean, that's a big key factor. I'd say probably my favorite so far is Princeton, just because it's a quarter-mile bull ring. So anything with banking, I like, and I don't know. It's a good place to learn, but I mean, Granite City is also a good place too. I mean, you race the track differently in both sets of corners, and same can be for Wilmer. I mean, that place is an egg shape, and turn one you're going in really hard, and then turn three you're having to whoa up quite a bit to make the corner. So, still trying to figure it out, but I think they're all pretty good tracks that we've raced so far.
You ain't kidding about Wilmer. It's so interesting whenever I put my drone up in the air. I'm like, gosh, I forget how weirdly shaped this is. And Granite City's kind of different too. That place can get pretty insane. That place is a fun. It can be really fun, and like you never know exactly like how you're gonna have to race it from one night to the next. And I think that for me, that's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Wilmer. I mean, I remember first time there, looking at the track, turn one does not look very wide, but when you get in the car, it's like the outside wall is over here and turn one is like over here. I mean, you could probably go three or four wide in there. It's pretty wide, and it narrows off at two, and then you come off the back stretch and you go down the turn three and you're like, whoa, I gotta slow up for this corner. This is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So they all have their unique things, and that's what makes it pretty cool. So you have to learn to adapt with the driver. So
Hey, another reason why drivers in the Midwest they can travel anywhere and do really well. Well, where can race fans and folks follow you on social media, or where do you keep your race updates?
yeah, so 7K Racing on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube. If you don't have any of those, you can just go to 7kracing.com. We have a page there, and there's some cool little tidbits and stuff that people can look at if they don't have any other social media platforms.
Alrighty. So no shortage of ways to follow Teddy and his brothers racing, and so head on over to those social media sites, and that way you can stay up to date. They're very active on social media, so definitely one of the good pages to follow. And looking forward to seeing you. I don't know when I'm gonna see you this year. For sure, at the end of the year with Ogilvy. I'm debating on my April schedule. We'll see. If I'm ready to go, I need to get all my other projects done before I think I can go to a racetrack. So the goal is to get to at least one of the weekends in Ogilvy if they open, or Princeton, and hopefully we'll see you throughout the summer as well.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking some time for letting us get to know you. Looking forward to the season and hope the off-season build continues to go strong and that you're ready for the first races coming up.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, all you race fans and folks checking out the interview. We'll see you back for the next one coming soon.